That's how we can keep the bears away later. I can just talk to you two. Good morning. We are in our next park. We are on the home stretch for the summer. This is Glacier National Park in northern Montana, and we have company this week. So we are meeting up with our friend David to do some hiking. Later on, we'll do some backpacking. This week, we are hiking mostly on the west side of the park. Today, we're up at Bowman Lake. This is in the North Fork area of the park, and during the summertime, you do need a reservation for this area if you want to enter after 6 a.m. We have one reservation, but 2 cars today, so we entered slightly before 6 a.m. in order to get past the gate. It was an early start. We woke up at 4:30 this morning, and since we are on Western time, it feels like 3:30. So yeah, we're doing a point-to-point hike today on the Quartz Lake Loop and then down to Quartz Creek. We're expecting the first 3 or 4 miles to be okay and the last 6 miles to be pretty overgrown. But fingers crossed that they're still tolerable. We have progressed to the less maintained or less often used trail for the hike. Put on our gaiters, and there's definitely trail. It's definitely been used, but it also is quite overgrown, as you can see from all of our bushwhacking. Ooh! Almost fell off the side there.
Yeah. Cummings Ranch homesteaded. 1908.
Well, we wrapped up our rather uneventful hike down on Quartz Creek. Really just not much to write home about there. Best views were at Bowman Lake when we arrived in the morning. After sitting around this afternoon and recovering, we decided to drive up to Logan Pass and mosey out a bit on the Highline Trail to watch sunset and photograph wildflowers and views. So that's where we are now, and it's basically the best place on earth, period. Highline Trail is truly one of the most special places we've ever been in any of the national parks. It leads from Logan Pass in Glacier and typically opens mid to late July, and then is open until they close the Going to the Sun Road for the season. It seems like it's an awfully long time to wait for a trail to be open, but there's just a ton of precarious snow up here that produces snow bridges that are unsafe for hikers. It also takes the park a ton of time to clear out Going to the Sun Road for vehicles to even get up here. The Highline Trail runs about 8.5 miles from Logan Pass out to Granite Park Chalet. And the whole thing is stunning. You can do the whole thing. You can do just a mile or two and turn around. There's a fabulous view of Grinnell Glacier and the Many Glacier area from a really steep hike off of the Highline Trail. You can also make it a longer hike by adding in a trek down the loop. This is truthfully not our favorite hike, but it does make the hike shorter if you want to go all the way out to the chalet and then down the loop trail. It's only about 4 miles down the loop trail. If you're really lucky, you can get reservations to stay at Granite Park Chalet. We have not yet been that lucky, but we will keep trying. If you do that, there's amazing hiking out there up the Swift Current Fire Tower and tons of backcountry beyond. We have also in the past done a hike on the Highline Trail where we arranged a shuttle from the Many Glacier area back to the St. Mary area in Glacier, and from there we took the park shuttles back up to Logan Pass to get our car. So that was a pretty epic day, about 16 or 17 miles. You have to finish in time to catch a shuttle, which for us was around 3 or 4 in the afternoon. So you definitely need to start early if you're going to be that adventurous. And the shuttles can be kind of hard to book, so you want to make sure that you are prepared and have looked up information about that before it's an adventure that you decide to do. If you have 2 cars with your party, that's also an option where you can leave 1 car down in Many Glacier and then shuttle yourself. A few tips if you're going to be out hiking the Highline Trail. The Highline Trail is high, so it is going to be a lot cooler up here than lower in the valley or even in other places in the mountains out here in Glacier. So do make sure that you're prepared with some kind of a jacket or extra layers, especially if you're going to want to sit and take in the views anywhere. Also be warned that parking at Logan Pass can be challenging. In the summer, it often fills up around 7:30 in the morning. It will have spaces open up throughout the day, but it can be just like Hunger Games to try to get a parking spot up here. We ended up deciding to enjoy the trail this evening, so we arrived around 7:30, and there were plenty of parking spots up in Logan Pass. A downside to starting late is that you probably won't be able to do the whole hike. So you really have to think through what your preferences are. Early morning, guaranteed parking spot. Late at night, guaranteed parking spot, but maybe not the whole trail. Another thing to remember is that Glacier National Park has a reservation system for the Going to the Sun Road corridor in the summer. And this can really feel like a huge pain in the butt. And it is, but it's also really helpful for managing traffic and ensuring that there's a greater chance of a parking spot here or at other trailheads along the Going to the Sun Road. These reservations, they've changed them over the years, but right now in 2023, they're good for 3 days. So you get 3 days that you can just come up and down the Going to the Sun Road whenever you want. If you don't have a reservation, you can try to get one the day before. They release a certain percentage of their passes every day, probably around 10 a.m. Eastern or 7 a.m. Pacific. And so you can try to snag one of those passes then. Or you can enter the park before 6 a.m. or after 3 p.m. and still enjoy what this area has to offer. And those are honestly some of the best times to be out here for light and animals. You can definitely drive the whole Going to the Sun Road after 3 p.m. Still do a couple of hikes here or there, take in the views from pullovers. So if you can't get a pass, don't worry, you'll still be okay. So it's going to be a lot cooler than
I need
what?
past the trees. Watch out.
Okay, go.